Hi, everybody. This is Juan Rodriguez and Sujit Ghosh from 3S Global Business Solutions and Integrated Digital Technologies, and we are presenting a webinar on Microsoft Power BI Essentials. Basically, what we're trying to do with this particular seminar is to educate businesses in terms of what business intelligence is about and what Power BI brings into the table. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start the presentation. We are going to set some expectations in here. So what is the seminar objective? The seminar objective is to provide you with an understanding of what data analysis using Power BI, as well as to introduce both Power BI reporting and dashboard visualization. We're going to explore some features on rapid creation, and we're going to have some demos as we go along the presentation. Once again, the two people on the webinar are Juan Rodriguez, I'm the presenter, and I'm with Integrated Digital Technologies, and we have partnered with Sujit Ghosh, and he can introduce himself. He's actually on the webinar also. Sujit, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey there, this is Sujit with 3S Global Business Solutions. We provide IT resources and we do custom application development primarily with Microsoft technologies. So Juan and I, we partnered to bring training and application solutions to you. So of course, if you have any questions on either on the training side or on the application development, or if you are looking resources either from US or from India, we can be helped.
Perfect. And once again, my name is Juan Rodriguez, and I'm with Integrated Digital Technologies. We are a Microsoft Learning partner. We are located in Glendale, and we do service the learning community in training for multiple offerings, such as all Microsoft offerings, also Cisco, Oracle, Adobe, and you name it. If it's in IT, we actually offer those particular courses. So let me give you a little background of myself. Basically, I have been in business for almost 23 years, and I'm an entrepreneur. So we actually looked at different ways of finding solutions for clients. So I have multiple businesses. One of them is actually IDT, which is our learning partner, training facility. But we have other businesses such as Axiom, which is a digital marketing web agency, and also an event management company called Spotlight City Events, and some other venues. So basically, the whole idea is to find solutions to clients' needs and get them resolved and make sure that they actually get the best implementation at the least expensive cost possible. I have a degree from Pasadena City College. I have a couple of degrees from California State University, one in computer science and one in applied mathematics. I have financial and accounting degrees and a lot of certifications, and one of them is a Microsoft certified trainer. Been with Microsoft for the past 22 years as a provider of training. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and continue on what is going to be happening today. So the first area that we're going to do, which we just did, it was introductions, and from 11:06 to 11:35 we are going to start on Power BI Essentials. BI stands for Business Intelligence, and then after that, we're going to have some questions and answers if there is any. So some of the topics that we're going to be covering will be things like, what is Power BI? What are some of the parts of Power BI? How does Power BI matches your role in your organization? How may be using your data right now? flow of work on Power BI, getting around Power BI services. Then we're going to actually go and get a live demo on how all this actually works, explain some of the services that are in Power BI, and also what are some of the blocks and the user interface of that. So what is Power BI? Basically, Power BI is a collection of services, apps, and connectors that work together to turn unrelated sources of data. So basically, you have data, and data is not meaningful unless we can actually read from that particular data. We have with Power BI, and BI stands for Business Intelligence, the capability of making sure that we can collect that data and make decisions based on that particular data. Once again, data could be from many different sources, and we're going to see that coming up on the demo. So Power BI, what it does is allows us to connect through sources. Sources like what? Like Excel, as you can see here, Access, SQL databases, through the web, through the cloud, and with the intention of connecting that data source to create a visualization of what that data is so that it can provide meaningful insights to our organization. It is enterprise grade level. It's real-time analytics, and you can actually do modeling and customization into what you're going to be seeing inside Power BI. We can also get quick insights of data just by the nature of the program itself. So the Power BI allows us to create out of the box just regular insights that might be good or bad or what you're looking for, but in terms they're just set as part of the basics of the Power BI. So with Power BI, we connect data, and typically connecting to data, it's not as easy as we might actually think. So what this particular product allows us to do is to do that easily and be able to share it with others in the organization in terms of dashboards and so on. Pretty easy once you get the inside the application, which we're going to be actually getting inside in a few minutes. We're going to actually click on that get data and then go get the data from certain sources. Once again, those sources could be Excel files, databases, Azure data, and so on. Even other software providers have already APIs that you can actually link out of that, and get that all that information inside the reports so that they eventually can become part of a dashboard. Basically, what Microsoft has done is create an out-of-the-box dashboard with cloud services that allow us to do all this very easily. So what are some of the parts of Power BI? So we have three components on the Power BI world. We have the Power BI desktop, we have the Power BI service, and we have the Power BI mobile apps. So each one is actually a component. So Power BI desktop is going to be essentially on your desktop. This is like where you're actually doing the number crunching, getting the data, getting that report prepared. Then the Power BI service is going to be the portion where you can actually share through the cloud and in the organization all this particular data insights. And then there's an application that you can actually download either on Android or Apple, where you can actually see everything that has been created inside your application and still make decisions directly from your application. So this is sort of like the flow of how things are done. So we have Power BI Desktop, and once again, this is where we actually do some of the number crunching and get the information in. Then that information actually gets shared or published into the Power BI service. And then from the Power BI service, then I also have access to the Power BI mobile. Just think of Power BI mobile as something very simple. You cannot really do a lot of things there, just mostly viewing of what has been created on Power BI service. You can also go directly inside Power BI service. We bypassing some of the Power BI desktop and do a lot of things directly on the Power BI service. So how Power BI matches your role? Well, depends on what you're actually trying to do or how your organization is set up. That's where you're going to be using a specific area. So if you are publishing, developing, creating, or modeling the data, most likely you'll do all that on the Power BI desktop. Once you're ready to collaborate and integrate, you will do that on the Power BI service. And if you're just monitoring or viewing dashboards and reports, you're going to actually see that on the Power BI mobile apps. Now, in terms of using data, it depends also on the levels of how sophisticated you might be with your knowledge. You could be just a data consumer, you could be a data aggregator, or you could be someone that is actually really, really into data, like a data scientist, where it's in charge of maybe like also areas such as, databases and things like that. So depending on the level, you can actually get deeper and deeper into the Power BI products. So once again, the Power BI flow is very simple. Once again, on Power BI Desktop, we connect to data and data sources. We build the reports, we publish, we share them. And then on Power BI Service, which I'll show in a few minutes, we are going to consume, share, enhance, interact with those reports that were built. And once again, the Power BI mobile app is just view and monitor basically. That's the flow. We just showed that a few minutes ago. The common flow of all the Power BI is to create a report in Power BI Desktop and publish it to Power BI Service and then share it with others, and including mobile apps. So how do I get around all this? So we're going to actually go in and drive into Power BI Service. On the actual application, and I'm going to actually switch right now real quick to my Office 365 account, you're going to see that there is an area there where you're going to have the Power BI application on your Office 365 account. Or if not, you can just actually go directly into a URL and type in app.powerbi.com. I'm going to show you real quick on my Office 365 account, basically how do I find that. So if I'm actually on my Office 365 account, I see all my different applications right on the top in here, and you notice that if I click on all applications, I'm going to see something in here that is called Power BI. The moment that I actually click that, it's going to take me inside Power BI. I could have also typed directly in the URL app.powerbi.com, and in here is my dashboard with my credentials and all that right here. If I needed to install for the desktop, the Power BI desktop, notice that there is a little drop down in here where it says Power BI desktop. The moment that I actually click on that, what it'll do is it'll download the information into my machine, and I'm going to just show real quick what you would see that in there. So if I am inside my machine and I type in something like Power BI in here, you'll see that I'm already installed the Power BI desktop. So I'm going to initiate that Power BI desktop so you can see um, that live. It gives you information and some cool information on what's inside here. And then once I move out of that, I'm ready to actually start working on the Power BI desktop and get things rolling. If you notice, this looks very similar to Excel. And the similarity is so you can actually model as you get data, you can model and do a lot of things in Excel, in Excel format, and then create amazing reporting and workspaces around that. So I'm going to go back to my presentation real quick. And that is the way we actually get inside there. This is just some snapshots of what we just did. So you click down in here, or you type app.powerbi.com to get in, and you have to make sure that you actually download the actual Power BI desktop to make sure that you actually work on it. So these are just screenshots. So Power BI service is, we're actually building the blocks, and there's a setup with different areas such as, user content, dashboard, favorites, and I'm going to do a demonstration on all that. Those are basically areas that you're going to find that are very common to all the Power BI applications. So we're talking about visualization, data sets, report, dashboards, and tiles that basically allow us to create a meaningful dashboard data. So quick sample of visualization is sometimes refers as a visual. So as a visual representation of data such as a chart. So as you can see here on the little example, and we'll see it a little deeper in just a few minutes, you will see information about mapping and so on. Then we have data sets. It's just data itself that is collected. Reporting is reports that actually are created based on the products that we're actually using, which is Power BI. And then a dashboard is a final single one-page report or a collection or visualization of what we have created, so that everybody can actually look and we can click on different areas and see what's really happening and so on. And tiles are the different areas, the little pieces that we have. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into a quick demo of this, and I hope you enjoyed. This is going to be based out of a file, an Excel file. Once again, I'm going to show you areas in there where you can actually pull information from all different places. So I'm going to move back into my desktop, and I'm going to go into my Power BI desktop, because that's actually where I'm going to be starting everything. I'm going to pull something real quick in here on my side, and we are ready to go. So the first time we're going to do, we assume that we already have installed Power BI for desktop, and that we already have also an Office 365 account with Power BI service. So we are ready to start getting the information in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Get Data area here of the Power BI for desktop. And as you can see, it gives me a lot of different type of data that I can actually pull out: Excel, SQL, analysis service, text, web, you name it, and there's more. And they are creating more of this access to different data as we speak. So I'm going to actually click on Excel, and I'm going to use from my desktop, I'm going to use a little example which is called financial sample. I'm going to pull that information, and as you can see, what Power BI for desktop sees is the different spreadsheets that I have or workbooks that I have in there. And in this situation, I have the financials. And if I look at the other one, there's another sheet in there. But the one that I'm interested right now is financials. So I have the capability of seeing information in here. But if you notice on the bottom, I have two things that I can do in here. I can load or edit this particular information. If I load it, it's going to go directly inside my Power BI desktop. If I edit it, I want to go the edit way, so you can see that this is very similar to Excel. So whatever you need to do, like add new rows, new columns, change formatting, everything can actually be done from this particular area. Transform data, add columns, do some viewing, do some relationship management and things like that if you have multiple areas in here. Once you're satisfied with this particular information, what you're going to do is you're actually going to click on close and apply, and basically that applies the query changes, and the data is basically transferred inside the Power BI desktop. As you can see inside here, you have all the different fields that we just saw a few minutes ago, the different visualizations that we are going to be able to apply, and so on. So as an example, what we're going to do is we are going to actually get some of this going. So I'm going to actually drag cells from the field side to the desktop, and notice that actually the first area actually gets created. I can actually modify it as it is. So it's actually showing me so far the cells. But if I want to actually show the product cells, I can actually drag products into here. And now you notice that as I actually go along, I see products for BTT and the cells for that particular product, Paseo. If I actually click on it, I can actually just, make sure that I emphasize one area. If I want to click outside and just see information, notice that this is giving me already minimal visual insights about the data that I have inside there. For another example, I'm going to actually drag this particular map. I don't have to drag it, I just have to click. I do have to click outside on here on the desktop to make sure that I create a new little canvas. So in here, what I'm actually doing is I'm selecting a visualization of a map. And from the map, I'm actually going to create some information, like maybe like the gross sales of per country. So I'm going to drag country inside this, and these are plugins that are actually built in with Bing and other products. And I'm going to also drag gross sales. So the moment that I actually do that, you notice that now when I'm there, and I'm actually inside United States of America, it says, what are the gross sales for the country United States of America or Canada or so on. And this, I can actually, change it as I please. We're going to be sharing that in a few minutes and publishing that in a few minutes. I'm going to give you another example of a donut chart. So I'm going to click outside once again in here, and basically I'm building my report on Visual and Power BI for desktop. So all these different areas, we are going to be using them finally on a dashboard. So once I have that information, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag something like segment in here and units sold. So let me look for units sold. So notice that it creates immediately a very meaningful donut chart telling me that the government is the segment that actually where we're selling the most. And the last area that I want to do is sometimes we just want to display data in just the standard format. So what I'm going to do as a final example in here is I'm going to drag the month number I'm sorry, I'm going to do month name. So notice that in a format that we're more used to as a data set, we're actually be able to see that information. We're going to actually drag the units sold per month. And notice that once again, I'm getting that information really, really fast. And I'm going to select the products. Notice that now it's telling me all the products, on units sold, and the products. And I'm going to drag something like the sales price. And something like the country. And notice that we have actually basically created something amazing out of the data that we have available. Now, there's tons of different things that you can actually do here in terms of, more sophisticated searches and things like that. So this is my my report. So I'm ready to really get going with this. So I'm going to save it. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to save as, I'm going to call it financial sample report new. And the reason that I'm calling it new is because I might have another one somewhere there. So this is actually ready and saved, so I can go back and do a lot of things with it. And now that I've actually saved, you notice in here in the top there is something called publish. And it says publish this report to Power BI on the web. And that will be the component of the Power BI service that is actually hosted by Microsoft. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and I can post it to any destination that I already have created on the Power BI service. I do happen to have an area called my workspace, and I'm going to click on select. And notice that this is actually working. So it says publishing your financial sample report. New extension is PBIX, I'm sorry, in Power BI. So now that I'm actually ready there, I can open this sample directly on Power BI, or I can still get some more insights about this. For the purpose of this particular exercise, I'm just going to open the financial, and notice that it opens my Power BI area, and I'm going to go into my my workspace, and you will see that particular report, that financial report right here. That's what I had created myself with, Power BI for desktop. Now I have a whole bunch of different things that I can actually do here. I can do filtering, I can do so on. But some of the major areas in here is I can actually pin this live and make it a real dashboard. So I'm going to pin this particular report live, and I can actually opt to, putting in an existing dashboard that I have, or I can create actually a new dashboard. And I'm going to create a new dashboard also called financial sample report new. And I'm actually pinning this live. And now it's telling me to go to the dashboard or create that mobile experience if I wanted to. So that's now my full dashboard that I can actually share, subscribe, get access to others, to actually do a lot of different things. So if you notice in here on Power BI service, we have now the different dashboards, and that's the dashboard that we just created. Then we also have the reports that where they actually come from. Then we can have the actual workbook, which is the actual areas that you're bringing inside here directly, or even the raw data or data set that was actually brought into the Power BI services by means of the Power BI desktop. Now, as I said before, and I'm actually almost concluding this particular exercise, you don't have to go directly inside Power BI desktop. Notice that on the bottom on Power BI service, and this is my specific account, I can actually now go in directly there and say get data. And I notice that the fill is a little different, but I do have in here things such as, databases and content and many other things, other services that are available out there, such as, Adobe Analytics, Google Analytics, and things like that. In fact, I'm just going to go real quick in here and show you something about on Google Analytics that I've created. So this is going to show me, it doesn't have data. Let me just make sure that I'm giving you the right ones. So my workspaces, I'm going to, where my workspaces. And in here I have analytics that I can get through this particular services that I can, install directly on my Power BI services. And notice that there's quite a bit of them. Click dimensions, which is a very common product, and so on. If you need to get data itself, when you click on get data, you can go to databases and connect directly to Azure, SQL databases, just regular SQL analysis, and so on. So you can explore this as you go more and more. Once again, database can be very complex, or it could have multiple tables, and then you can do relationship management and things from here. So to go back in here, that is basically Power BI in a nutshell. This is a quick webinar on what Power BI. We have more in-depth classes and training that has to do with this, with all the bells and whistles and hands-on exercises and things like that. Without further ado, we really want to thank you. If there is any questions, we're here to answer them, or you can send them to us via email to either Sujit at sujit.ghosh@3sgbs.com or J. Rodriguez at IDT.edu. We have our information in here. And basically, we are here to help you get the most out of your data. That is the whole idea of this, to present to you a new product that is part of your Office 365 stack that probably most people don't know that is there, and how powerful it could be for your organization. Sujit, do you have anything to say?
No, I'm good. Excellent presentation, Juan. Thank you so much. It was really, really nice, and it's very simply explained. And I'm sure if you guys have any questions, let us know. We will we'll do whatever we can to support you.
Thank you. With that in mind, if there is no questions, we will thank you for being with us. And if you have any needs, don't forget to actually visit either 3sgbs.com or idt.edu or idtlearning.com. IDTLearning.com is our corporate side of the business, and we have a listing of all the different courses that we actually support, that we train. And we train online, instructor led, and we can even go to your offices. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you.